Hey everybody, Motorpoet 59 here. I'm talking a little bit about this release of oil from the strategic reserves to help with the oil crisis. That's not going to help. I don't recall the numbers right now. I read them a few days ago and they started ballyhooing about doing it. There isn't enough oil being released to supply the United States use of oil. And when they say oil, you understand they're saying oil. They're not saying that they're releasing a 500 million barrels of light sweet crude. They just say they're releasing oil. And not all that oil that they release is going to be used to make gasoline with. It's going to be used for all sorts of things, which is another thing that I've gone through before and so many people don't understand. Everything we touch has petroleum in it. And this oil is going to be used, some of it's going to be used for commercial purposes and industrial purposes, and some of it's going to be used for gas. But the issue is it's not enough. It's not going to help. This is a ploy to get OPEC, in my opinion. This is a ploy to get OPEC to come back to the bargaining table. And I don't think OPEC's going to fall for it. I think they understand that the United States of America uses far too much petroleum and gasoline for what they're going to release to have any sort of a real effect on what the United States has available to refine. And the only thing that's really going to help, what always gets OPEC back to the bargaining table is the United States ramping up its domestic production. That's the only thing that's going to get their attention. And the leftists running the Democrat Party are not going to allow that to happen. And the people who are being hurt most by this is the middle class, as usual, who the Democrats promised to help. They promised to make things better for us. And I've known since the day that Biden was elected that they weren't going to make things better. They were going to make things worse. The Democrats always make things worse. There isn't enough oil in the strategic reserve release to make a dent in what we actually need. We need to ramp up domestic production. And people, here again, I know if there are any liberals watching this, I'd be surprised. But everybody who does watch this probably knows liberals. And it's imperative that we try to get them to understand that this is what the people they vote for are doing. They're lying to them. They're not giving them the whole story. It's so hard to get liberals to do the work, to do some research, to really understand the true numbers involved, because they're famous, and it starts with the mainstream media. They just toss numbers out there and people go, yeah. And then you look into it and it's like, wait a minute, that's not accurate. But what is accurate is the fact that these strategic reserve releases are going to help nothing. I haven't bought gas in about a week and a half. I haven't needed to. And so I can't really say if it's gotten any cheaper. My wife said it was, but don't know how she'd know that. She didn't buy no gas either. She never goes anywhere. So I don't know. I don't know if the price has actually gone down. The last time I got gas, it was $5.59 at the AM/PM for regular over here by the place closest to my house. The strategic reserve is supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a strategic reserve. Bill Clinton sold the strategic reserve at Elk Hills out here in 1994, I think. But they're supposed to be, the ones that are left, are supposed to be strategic reserves. And there's nothing strategic about too many people bitching about the price of gas. Trying to fix that is not strategic. That is an economic issue. And using our strategic petroleum reserves to try to correct that is wrong. It is, and it's stupid. It's not going to work. It's going to deplete our reserves. And unless they allow us to start producing domestically again to replace what we use, we're not going to have a strategic reserve if we ever need one. And look around the world right now. Look at things. Things are getting crazy. North Korea's getting bold. China's getting bold. We've already got the Russia-Ukraine thing going on. And this idiot Joe Biden is releasing our strategic reserves. Go figure. It doesn't make sense. But these are Democrats, and nothing they do makes sense to people who have the ability to think. I know that there are Gen Zers. These people they don't have the capacity to think for themselves. They have been raised and spoiled by their parents to believe everything is okay as long as Democrats are running things, and that they've been trained to believe that renewable energy is the answer to our energy needs in America, and that is a huge lie. We have to have fossil fuel. We have to have oil. We have to have coal and natural gas, because if we don't, the country's going to shut down. That's just the way it is. And we need our strategic reserves to remain as strategic reserves, what few we have left, and not as a means to garner votes, which this is about, to garner to raise public opinion, which this is about, because it's not about getting more oil out there to people. They're just not going to be enough. And this happened. If you remember, this happened sometime back during the last summit they had. G12 or G8 or G96 or whatever. I did a video about that at the time, where they talked about Japan was going to release 7 million barrels and somebody else was going to release 15 million barrels. Okay, that'll suit California until lunchtime. Now what? Go do some research and see how much oil the United States of America uses every day. I've done a video about it before where I did all. I'm not going to do it again. You can go back and look at that. But it's easy to find. Google it. How much oil does America use every day? And see if what this paltry amount they're releasing from the strategic reserve is going to change anything. Think it's going to do any good. Domestic production. We have to get the Democrats out of the House and out of the Senate so we can override some of these ridiculous mandates that are in place that are keeping the United States of America from being an energy independent nation like we were under Donald Trump. Okay, you want to keep paying $5, $6, $7 for gas, depending on which grade you use, $7 a gallon for diesel. You want to keep paying those prices? I don't think so. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we'll see you all later.